Unfair and injustice the way we concede the penalty. Before the season, there was the instruction only with a clear and obvious mistake, then the VAR has to interfere. And that is definitely, this is not a clear and obvious mistake of the refereeing on field.
For us, it's no penalty, but we are angry with ourselves because we create many chances and we didn't score. We didn't lose the game because of penalty. I think if we score the chance that we create, then the game is different.
We are happy for our fans above all, for our players. They deserve this kind of victory. After suffer a lot in the first half for sure, in the second half too, but I think that the second half we changed different things and we were able to compete better and to win this match.
I saw that Danny was going to hit the ball and I just anticipated on the ball and yeah, I thought I'm going to reach this ball and it went in, you know. I said to Mo, kudos, that if I come on, I'm going to score, so that's why I went to him.
We have to look in the mirror. We don't score from a really good game from our side, creating loads of chances, concede no chances. But then, of course, also the second frustration is when you lose in this way. Yeah, that gives a bad feeling.
Yes, I did. So first of all, in football it's not always the best team winning. And today there was clear and obvious. And clear and obvious wasn't how the VAR worked. How they worked, how they run their process. And before the season they explained the process of the VAR. And only when it's clear and obvious, then they should interfere. So what they didn't do against Spurs, where they should have done it, to interfere with the red card of Bruno. There was a wrong decision, and now they make again a wrong decision, interfering, and both has a big impact on the scores of the games.
Are you angry with Michael Oliver, who's the VAR, rather than the on-pitch referee?
No, I'm not criticizing any personal. I criticized the process. And of course there are people who are running the process. But yeah, it had a big impact on the score. And the other impact was that we didn't score. And we create so many chances. We played so good football. Especially the first half is exact how I want to see my team playing. So dominant, in and out of position, very good build-up, very good structures, playing between the lines, go around, back inside, go behind, create chances. I think I collected 6, 7, 100% chances we should have scored. And that is the other thing. And then, of course, when you don't score, we have to keep calm and keep going and do the same thing, because that will create your chances. And that is a point of improvement. But all over, I had not so many criticism on my team, apart from not scoring.
Erik, do you have any concerns about the fact that it was Michael Oliver, a much more senior referee, in front of the VAR, whether a referee can say yes or no to
As I say, I don't criticize any personal, but I criticize the process. And as I said, there were the off-field was obviously the VAR was Michael Oliver, but also the on-field. You have to make a decision in the final moment, and he did, I think, 3 minutes to decide and to make this call. But then, you have to show big personality to recall this decision, what an experience the VAR has made. But I can also say Alejandro Cornacho twice, Rasmus Højlund one time, Rashford, Bruno, the header. So that is not fair to pick one of the players out who missed the chances. No, there were so many who were missing chances.
All managers need a bit of luck. Do you just feel that it's just not there for you at the moment? You're just not getting any rub of the green at all?
In this moment, definitely the luck is not on my side. It's not about me. It's about the team, and it's not on our side. And last season was not different. But in the end, we turned this around. And we are so determined it will be the same case today. But yeah, we have to turn this around, and it will turn around if we keep playing like we are playing now. We see in this block Brentford, Fenerbahce today. We play really good football.
Right, let's get straight to the big talking point. This is what PGMOL tweeted. The referee did not award a penalty to West Ham for a challenge by De Ligt on Ings. The VAR deemed there was sufficient contact on Ings' lower leg, recommended an on-field review. The referee overturned his original decision and awarded a penalty. Gentlemen, take it away.
It's not a penalty, is it? I mean, you see here with De Ligt there, I mean, Ings has sort of jumped into him. We talk about this high bar. The referee didn't give it, and now he goes to the VAR little screen and it puts doubt in his mind. That is not a penalty. Absolutely. I feel sorry for De Ligt there.
There's got to be two players coming together. When the ball bounces between them, they've got to challenge in some way. It looks clumsy from De Ligt on this angle where you see where he sort of
De Ligt put his hands up right here.
But it's that close, the proximity. Is that what's he meant to do? It's a coming together. It's not a penalty. This is one that VAR have got wrong. That's what we feel today. Michael Oliver
is
who is one of our senior referees, and he's a fantastic referee. And I just don't think there was any need to step in on that decision.
But David Koo could have took some responsibility and gone with his initial decision. I think, and Bowen's took it away nicely. But
we have spoken about the referee's call all season, Micah.
Exactly, and he didn't give it. So stick with that. Have some faith in yourself.
And David Coote, you saw on the replay as well, saying no penalty.
No penalty.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's very surprising. If you're West Ham, I'm sure they're very disappointed fans, but surely they must see that as well.
United should have won it, really, given the chances they had. But Julian Lopetegui did make a little tweak, which went in their favour.
Yeah, he did. He made 3 substitutions at half-time, which were very positive. But one of the players who suffered in the first half was Edson Alvarez. And he struggled because of the pace of the game and Manchester United's movement in midfield. And here he is highlighted, and he's alongside Bruno Fernandes. And it's a simple run from Bruno Fernandes. He doesn't know where he is, loses him here, pass him on to the centre-back, give information. If you can't get there yourself, but he gets away with this time. Now he finds himself with Garnacho, again tracking back, can't quite get back into that position and put him under pressure. He's just not athletically able to make that.
Feet, isn't he?
Yeah, a little bit, and he gets a little bit lost in positions at times, but this time he finds himself quite advanced up the pitch, and it's very clear that his job is to keep an eye on Bruno Fernandes. So you see him looking over his shoulder now. Where is he? Right, I need to get as close as I can to him. This time it goes out to Garnacho, but he's in that vicinity, he's in and around the area, and then he makes the changes at half-time, and what you see is Edson Alvarez now finds himself in the back three, in the centre of the back three, and then he puts Emerson and Wan-Bissaka as his wing-backs, and it changes the way that West Ham can press, but also can get out from the press that Manchester United put on. Wan-Bissaka was very adventurous down the right-hand side, perhaps not his greatest day in the forward areas, lacking in that quality. But when you see this position now, Emerson going tight, but Alvarez now steps out from that centre-back position, both full-backs now advancing. Emerson with a lovely overlapping run. It causes Casemiro a problem, who's on the other side. His opposite fullback, Wan-Bissaka, closed down quickly, can't quite get that cross in, but the intent's there. Just look at the position of Edson Alvarez at the bottom of the screen, but then look at the two wing-backs, how high they now are. This is the goal. Wan-Bissaka leaves that position, he goes high. Todibo goes in, presses, they win the ball back. It's quick, it's incisive, it's good movement, but now you can see Somerville, one of the substitutes, having an impact, getting on the end of it, and it was a really positive change from Lopetegui to alter the game.
Big win for West Ham. And the stats.
Yeah, and it was huge because in the first half they created lots of opportunities. Second half, it was that when you've got men behind defending, it came one of those situations where Bruno Fernandes is taking pot shots from outside the box. As a defender, you're absolutely delighted about that.
Yep, big win for the Hammers. Thank you very much indeed, gents. Now, here's one to make you feel old. Chelsea are yet to use a player over the age of 27 this season. Newcastle United hadn't won at Stamford Bridge since 2012. Cole Palmer was just 9 years old back then. Your commentator, Guy Mowbray.
Well, much needed win for West Ham. Our friend Chris Foy is with us to talk about that penalty, which was extremely controversial. Before we get to that, there are plenty of times we sat here and Manchester United played poorly. But they should have won. Even before we get to the penalty, they should have been out of sight in the first half, shouldn't they?
Should have been 5-0 up. I mean, they battered West Ham. West Ham were all over the place. And then the coach has gone down, Lopetegui at half-time, and he's probably looked at the 11 players and thought it could be any one of you that I take off and made a triple substitution. But the chances that they made, this is about 2 or 3 minutes into the game. So Garnacho, instead of going too precise and going high, maybe you could fire it in the bottom corner, but he's unlucky. Countless times that Aaron Wan-Bissaka was out of position because he was too attacking and leaving the centre-backs completely exposed. That one's a technique thing where you can either go on your left foot or try and bend it with your right. This is right up me and Leon's street.
Yes.
The way he misses the header. And it was chance, Leon, after chance after chance.
Yeah, from people you expect to score. You know, that Bruno Fernandes one there, 28 efforts he's had now without scoring. That's Manchester United can't afford that. They need their best players scoring goals.
That is a great save and
great defending. That's the only one where you'd say that's a wonderful save. But, you know, the level of chances that they had.
This is from Dalot.
Well, it goes down as one of the worst, and there's quite a few, by the way. Me and Joe Spate had a look. And Aguero, Thierry Henry, Ronaldo, Ronnie Rosenthal in the game that I played against at Villa Park. There's been loads of really poor misses, but he didn't even hit the target. You know, it looked from this angle that he clips it over the bar. He actually missed it to the post as we're looking here. The left-hand post as we're looking. Yeah. He actually hit it wide.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible. You've seen the reaction from his teammates as well. How big a chance that is and how much they need it. They're desperate for it at the moment, Manchester United, and haven't gone in that position at half-time without being ahead. You just feel that you feel like you're up against it.
That wasn't on Ten Hag today, to your point.
No, it can't be on the manager when your players are missing chances like that. Yeah. And to be fair to Ten Hag, I don't think it'd be on the manager when it's 1-1 and a penalty is given against you in this manner. Chris, talk us through the whole process here, because I think we're all scratching our heads here about whether and how this is deemed to be a clear and obvious error by David Coote on field not to have given a penalty.
Yeah, it's one that surprised me, to be honest with you. I mean, the referee's in a really good position, and we can quite clearly see contact between De Ligt and Danny Ings, and he goes to ground. The referee doesn't blow the whistle, doesn't give a penalty. But as we know that, you know, these decisions are checked. VAR, Mike.
I'm not being flippant here. Is it knee on knee? Is that what it is?
Yeah. Yeah, it's knee on knee. I mean, there's a little.
Is.
Yeah, I mean, Don was right before. There's a slight shirt pull, but I don't think we'd be given a penalty for that. There's knee on knee. He goes to ground. There isn't a great deal of reaction, and he's sent to the screen to look at it. I mean, when we're talking about the high bar for intervention, you know,
we're talking a lot about referees' call this season.
We are as well, and the referee's got the opportunity, David Coote, to look at it, and he looked at it quite a while.
Which says quite a lot in itself.
And he came to
Michael
the decision.
Oliver sent them there in the first place.
And listen,
I don't think Michael Oliver should have got involved there.
No, I think Michael Oliver should have got involved.
I think we talk about the high bar. We talk about referee's call. It's such a crucial stage in the game for a nothing incident. Everyone's looking at it thinking, I don't see where the foul is.
Not one player on the pitch appealed for it. Danny Ings screamed because he felt contact, but he didn't put his arms up and ask for a pen. He didn't turn to the referee. Not one player thought there was. They played on. They carried on and never gave it a second thought, and then were surprised when the game was stopped for a penalty.
And that's a word, contact, that gets used an awful lot, I think. And there will be contact when there's 22 players on a football.
Nobody had possession of the ball. It was a ball to be challenged for and to be fought for. No one really had it.
And I think this is worth pointing out, simply because no one's casting any aspersions at all. But Anthony Taylor and Michael Oliver are our best referees. And if I was a referee and it's gone in my ear that Michael Oliver says go and have a look at it, immediately that's going to put me, because we're only human beings, under a lot of pressure to feel, right, I've obviously quite possibly got this wrong. And do you know what I mean, Leon? You're immediately...
Michael Oliver is...
See, I don't buy sufficient contact. No, sufficient's the wrong word there. There's minimal contact.
Yeah, I mean, as I said at the beginning, Mark, I think it was a surprise, and it's one that quite clearly they'll look at. I know that the referees this week are meeting on Wednesday. They had a fantastic week last week with VAR.
Yes, they did.
You know, 8 interventions that were really good. When they sit down this week, they'll look at that. They'll look at all the decisions and they'll work out how they got to that decision and how they.
I think it would have been amazing. Michael Oliver's got involved. I think he shouldn't have. But once he's got involved, I think it would have been brilliant for David Coote to go over to the monitor, to see what we're all seeing and say, well, I don't actually see the sufficient contact. No penalty.
Yeah. Well, just on the back of that, the final decision always rests with the on-field.
It does.
You know, the
but I
on-field
go back to what I was saying. It is hard when Michael Oliver is the man who sent you there. That is just hard. And by the way, sufficient is a long way from clear and obvious.
Exactly.
Isn't it? It's a long way from a referee's call and a high bar. Anyway, as you say, they'll debate that this week.